Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another video. If you're wondering what a chargeback is or how to deal with a chargeback, then you should probably watch this video. Bill, another bill, another bill, another bill. All right, let's check our bank account so we can pay these bills. Wait a minute. What? $2,000? Where did they go? Hey, Steven. I just got off the phone with my bank and they told me you did a chargeback because you weren't satisfied. Yeah. A chargeback is something you don't want to deal with. It's something that just kind of drains your energy because you're dealing with something you didn't plan for. And now, if you're a small business, that might hurt your pockets. So let me explain how a chargeback works. So a person goes into your business and becomes a customer. They either buy a service from you, pool cleaning, get their nails done, whatever it is. But then the business uses a processing system, something like Square, Stripe, Clover, PayPal, or some other millions of processing systems that are out there. The processing company then sends the money to a bank, which is the business owner's bank. The customer uses their debit or credit card like Visa, MasterCard, Amex to purchase that item or service from the business owner. After a couple of days, the customer leaves and they decided, hey, I'm actually not satisfied. This is not what I thought I wanted. So then the customer goes back and dials and calls the bank. So then the customer calls the bank and says, hey, I don't like this product. This business sold me something that it wasn't as described. So then the bank now goes into the processing companies and says, hey, my client is not happy with the product of the business owner that he promised my customer. So then the dispute takes a few days. And then now the owner has to talk to his bank and his processing system to pretty much go into like, no, the customer is wrong. They got what they said. And then the client's like, no, you promised me this. And then they're going back and forth, right, through the merchant. Well, then you're probably asking yourself, well, why doesn't the customer go to the business and ask for a refund? Well, this is where it gets tricky. And don't get me wrong, there's some times where, yeah, you need to do a chargeback because the item they said they were gonna send that never got sent, or you purchased something from a website that like was kind of shady, but you didn't know, and you put your credit card in there and they never sent you, or they sent you something that wasn't supposed to be sent. And yeah, I get those, right? I get those chargebacks. But I'm talking to you about chargeback fraud. The chargeback that people think they should do a chargeback because they're unhappy. And going off this legal website, there's this thing called chargeback fraud. Chargeback fraud, also known as friendly fraud, when a customer initially disputes a legitimate transaction with their bank or credit card company to get a refund while keeping the item or service, right? So if you're a pool boy, if you're a nail tech, a person providing some type of food service, right? A chargeback hurts more, especially us. We own a marketing company. I'll tell you why it hurts. Because we have to pay our web developers, our customer service reps. We have to pay the bills here. And somebody comes and gets a website, and then because they're maybe, hey, my cousin said he could have done this himself for way cheaper, so I'm just gonna do a chargeback, keep the website, just because my cousin said, right? There's a lot of different scenarios. And for the longest time, I didn't do nothing about it because I was like, well, maybe they are right. Maybe they weren't happy. And then I started noticing there's a specifically type of person that likes to do these type of chargebacks. Now we like to kind of like red flags alert. Okay, hey, we'll do business with you, but if you Zelle or Apple Pay or Wire or ACH, right? But there's this other group that still kind of gets away. And a lot of people say, well, businesses, they have a lot of money. A lot of businesses don't have a lot of money. A lot of people think businesses have money because what they charge, but at the end of the day, businesses have a huge overhead, and sometimes they don't have enough customers to cover that overhead. So that one customer that does come by and does a chargeback hurts even more because now they're out of that money, but they're out of that product or service that cost them money to be able to fulfill it. So we've been in business over 9 years, and I always didn't know what to do because no matter what, we would submit and always, for some reason, lose. We only probably won like 5% of our chargebacks, and the exact same way that we submitted for that 5% where we won, we submitted to a lot of different chargebacks, and it never worked out. Well, recently I came up with a bulletproof system. I met somebody at a conference that said, hey, I own a debt collection company. Then I started asking questions like, how do you collect? Do you only work with Visa? People that don't pay their bills, people that don't pay their mortgages, what type of debt collection? Again, we're at a conference and we're just kind of chatting. Then he says, also people that do chargebacks. And I go, wait a minute, what do you mean people that do chargebacks? He goes, yeah, people that do chargebacks. There's sometimes when people do an illegal chargeback and they need to collect from that person, but that person's not willing to collect. And I go, well, what do you need in order to win this chargeback or to collect from them even after the merchant went ahead and gave them their money back? Because aren't they in the right? And he goes, no, they're not in the right, because banks have a system where they automatically assume it's the business's fault and not the customer's. And then it sparks something. I go, well, hey, I have a few thousands of dollars that needs to be collected then at that point. And he goes, oh yeah, here's my number. We became close friends. And then he gave me a paragraph to add to our invoices. And so this is where my bulletproof chargeback system came from. And I was like, what do I need to do to become your client? And I'm gonna give you this information for free, even if you don't become their client, because I will link them down below, because it has made me a ton of money back. I'm telling you guys will be able to fight the chargebacks on yourself, and you're really not gonna win most of the time. But I'll tell you one thing, if you lose and you have a few thousands of dollars that you need to get collected, if you're watching this video, you probably do. In the bio, I put the paragraph that he told me to put on all our invoices, and I'm gonna read it to you. The invoice says, please be advised that all deposits or payments are non-refundable. In the event of a dispute, any chargeback initiated will be forwarded to a third-party collection agency for resolution. Additionally, we reserve the right to pursue legal action, which may result in additional fees and court proceedings. We strongly advise resolving any issues directly with us to avoid such actions. If you're looking for project timelines, please visit this. As soon as payment is made, you agree to those terms. And I was like, whatever, it doesn't hurt me to add this. Guys, as a small company, this was super game changer, because I searched for every video, what is a chargeback? I searched for every website out on the web, how to be chargebacks, and I did everything they said, and for some reason never fucking worked. And again, it goes back because banks and processing systems say that customers are always right. What happens next after I put this on all our invoices? Let's say a chargeback occurs and it's a $2,000 project. We already almost had the project done, or we delivered the project, and they call the bank and then they go through the whole system and then we lose the chargeback. There's third-party debt collection companies that won't charge you anything until they collect. That's the most beautiful part about this, right? And you're like, well, I don't want to go through that process. But let me tell you guys, if you are doing over $2 million, $3 million in revenue, or even $1 million in revenue, even if you have $5,000 in chargebacks every single month or every single year, you should collect what's yours. Just by adding this to our invoices, our chargebacks drop tremendously. And the people that are doing a chargeback or try to do a chargeback, well, what happened is, if we lose the chargeback, because we'll still fight every chargeback, but if we lose this chargeback, then what we do is we grab the first name, last name invoice and we upload it to the system, which is a third-party system. That third-party system now has an internal system where they start sending emails, sending text messages, calling this person and saying to settle this debt, right? Because they agreed that it was non-refundable and the deposits were deposits and you cannot get that back. Well, what happens if that person doesn't pay the third-party debt collection company? Well, let me tell you, a third-party debt collection company is all they do, and they have internal legal systems and internal lawyers. They are going to go and either hurt their credit, right? Or put a lien on their house, depending on how much it is. But the best part is that company can now hurt their credit. And let me tell you, this is the most efficient thing that I have done in the last 9 years of being in business. And the reason why I'm making this video is because there's a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs on my YouTube channel that don't know what to do. In the bio, this is what I did. I put the paragraph that you should add Tailor it however you want, but this shit works. Also, in the bio, I'm adding a link to a third-party debt collection company that we use that goes and has lawyers in-house. You wanna make sure whatever debt collection company you're using has internal lawyers. You don't wanna come out of pocket for legal. So by adding that verbiage that I put in the bio, that says if we have to go to court and go to put any type of legal actions towards your chargeback, your illegal chargeback, that you're covering every single fee on top of that. I wanted to make this video because I strongly want you guys to understand that chargebacks is a bigger thing now because people are struggling, and the very first thing they think of is, I don't have money, what should I do? Oh, I'm gonna do a chargeback on this order that I did because either A, I'm a piece of or, oh, they have money, I don't care. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys watching this video. If you thought this video was super helpful, if you're an entrepreneur and you got in a chargeback, let me know what you've done to win that chargeback if you have won some in the comments, and I'll see y'all in the next video.